like to give a big shout out to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. They are a one-stop shop for everything your website might need. So if you guys need to build a website or an online shop, they have the perfect platform to do it on. They have beautiful templates that you can customize and change around if you get bored or you change your mind. They have a great customer service that will help you with anything you need 24/7. They are super affordable, so instead of hiring somebody and paying them loads of money, you can just do it yourself and do it well. So if you would like to give it a go, make sure to use my code. It's squarespace.com/Anita, and it will give you a 10% discount at the checkout with your first purchase. So give it a go, see what you think, and I'm sure you're not going to be disappointed. Okay, so we just got to this amazing location here. We are at this abandoned gas station, and I'm just doing a little location scouting. The sun is very harsh still, so I'm just kind of taking my time to set up my shots, figure out what I want to shoot where, and then I'm going to start shooting maybe in like half an hour or so, because the sun is really strong and it's really hot at the moment. So we're just kind of trying to figure out what's the best kind of locations to shoot at. So this particular location was flagged to me by a friend who said that there is a location close to Cape Town that looks really nice. They have 3 separate locations that are used as movie sets and so on. I contacted them and I mentioned that I'm going to be doing a test. I did have to pay for it, but I thought it was worth it. I was booked in for half a day because it was quite pricey. It was around €200 for a test, which is quite a lot to pay. I don't usually pay for locations. I try and find locations that are free if I'm doing tests, but I thought that, just because I thought it would be such a nice production and because I knew we were getting the Mustang, I just thought it would come together so nice. I used my 24-70 lens to shoot this entire editorial. I thought it would give me more freedom. I did like using the slightly wider angle on this one just to create some distortion and create some drama in the images. I did shoot mostly between 35 and 50 millimeter, but I did go to 70 and I did use 35 and lower as well for some of the shots. For the entire day, I stuck with shooting at around f4. I did vary a tiny bit. I shot on a higher f at the beginning of the day and I lowered it down to 2.8 towards the end of the day when the sun was setting and it was much softer. But in general, that was the kind of range. So I didn't go too shallow and I didn't go too high either. My settings were between 2,500 of a second to 250. Again, it kind of shifts from the time of the day. Shooting at the beginning of the day was much harsher, so the settings had to be much higher, and then towards the end of the day when we were doing the sunset, it was much softer. To celebrate the 4th of July and my All-American shoot, I decided to do a massive sale on my website for my presets. All the packs are up to 40% off, so make sure to check it out on anitasadowska.eu/shop. I am going to link it down below, so make sure to check it out. So this is the first look. I am sticking to the inside for now because it is really bright and really hot. And I mean really hot. I think it's like 35 degrees. So we're doing the first look here. We did some cool video just before that. So we just want to kind of move on to the next outfit, and I thought that this kind of look would be kind of cool. You have the little body freezer and then you have the little sign, and then her outfit kind of really loose, really masculine, really kind of like I don't care vibe. So that's the kind of look I'm going for. My settings for the moment are 2.8, f2.8, 320 of a second, and ISO 100. So I do occasionally style shoots myself. It's not usually my favorite thing because I'm not really a stylist. It's not really within my comfort zone, especially because I feel clothes for fashion are much different than clothes for conceptual photography, where the fashion really has to stand out for the shoots to be really nice. And I just don't really trust myself that much. I think I am doing okay if I have to, but in general I just prefer to have a stylist there. But because I didn't have a stylist there, because there wasn't really anybody around that I could ask, I just went around to the shops. I had a clear idea in my head of what I wanted. I looked at Pinterest, I looked at several shoots, and I just walked around the shops and seen what's there. Because the fact that you want some styling to have some styling in your shoot doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to be in the shops. And that was certainly the case. I walked around many shops. I went to Zara, to Mr. Price, any, kind of high street shops that I could think of. And unfortunately, there wasn't really much that I liked. The fashion there was much more, wearable and pretty and so on. And Cape Town was going into winter, so there's loads of heavy knits and so on, and it just wasn't really working for the idea that I wanted. There was a few things that I was able to get. I was able to get boots and so on, but in general I wasn't really happy until I went into The Lot, which was a boutique shop that sells a certain kind of fashion. Once I got into the shop, I saw loads of things that I really liked, and I thought it would be great to be able to pull them for the shoot. I wanted quite a lot of stuff, so I thought it might make sense to just go and ask for the manager's email so I can message them and ask about pulling clothes for the shoot. And, if that doesn't work out, I could maybe try and buy them. But I thought that first it would be wiser to just ask. So I went in, I asked the girls who is the manager to get me their email. They did. I emailed them, and then the next day, because I didn't get a reply, I just came back to the shop and I asked, is there any way they could give them a call and just see if they received my message, just because the shoot was pretty much the following day and I wanted to make sure that I got everything that I wanted. And if I wasn't able to pull the clothes, I just wanted to have some time to kind of pull some other stuff as a kind of safety option. So as they called the manager, they got back to me straight away, which was great. So basically, because it was such a last minute shoot, it was like happening the next day, so there was no time to kind of officially approve it and so on. That they sent me a form that I had to sign, just saying that I'm going to, credit them in all the work and, return all the clothes as they were. And if, something is damaged, I'll just have to pay for it, which I was perfectly fine with, because that's usually the way it works. If you're buying clothes or if you're getting clothes from a company, you have to make sure that you return them in the original state. So I did that. They did ask me to pay for the clothes, put them on my credit card, and then I will get the money back as soon as I return the clothes that are undamaged. It was quite a lot of money to put forward. Fortunately, I did have my credit card, so I just put it on my credit card and I went on with picking the outfits. I picked 7 looks, which was great. I think they worked quite well and it was exactly what I wanted for the shoot, so I was more than happy to take that educated risk and try to get the styling that I really wanted. Because her styling was quite fierce, I wanted the poses to reflect it as well. I asked the model to be quite strong in her poses, quite masculine, some man spreading and so on, because it always looks really good on photos. And I think it complemented the images quite well. Because we were shooting in the afternoon, and even though we only started at 2 o'clock, the light was still quite harsh, and there wasn't really much that we could do. The shadows under her eyes and so on were quite severe, so we decided to just play around a bit, get some nice footage of me driving around in the Mustang pretending to be the model. It was a lot of fun. But then when it came to actually taking the photos, we had quite a narrow window of time. It was around 2 hours. We started at around 4 o'clock, and then by 6:30 the sun was pretty much gone. So it was a very narrow window of time, considering we still had to do video, so it was a bit of a challenge in this sense. But in general, I did really enjoy it, and especially the later shots when we had the kind of sun coming down and so on. I just think it was a very, very nice kind of moody setup. For some of the final shots, we actually got done to drive the Mustang away to kind of create a bit of dust behind the model, and have that kind of haze behind her, and it worked out really well. Okay, so we just wrapped up the shoot. As you see, the sun is set. it's quite dark already. It changed quite drastically from being super hot to being this nice and mellow, and then it just disappeared completely. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little behind the scenes. Big shout out to Wiggle for letting us play around with the Mustang. It was such an amazing experience just to drift around a bit and just get those awesome shots. I'm really excited. I hope you guys liked it. Make sure to give them a follow on Instagram and check out their website. I'm going to link them down below. And if you did like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time.